Hi guys, welcome back to 375 Dance Studio. My name's Amanda and today we are going to be doing another reaction video, but it's a little bit different this time. I am going to be looking at seasons 15, 16, 17, and 18, and I'm going to see the people who got eliminated first out of the season. So it's pretty much like the worst dancers of that season, and I'm going to be reacting to their dances. All right, so the first one we're gonna start with is Pamela Anderson with Tristan. They are going to be dancing a cha-cha, and this is their first week. I think they only got to dance one time and then they got eliminated. So let's check this out.
Dancing the cha-cha-cha, Pamela Anderson and her partner Tristan MacManus.
Okay, so far I have been seeing it was actually right to the dancing, not a lot of fluff as I call it. Recognizable cha-cha figures, you got some lock steps, we got back basic, we got a fan position there. So we got some figures. The only thing that I'm finding so far that is a little bit not so great is that it's a little bit off timing. She's a lot of the times ahead of the music and ahead of the counts and ahead of the steps before him. So she's arriving way too early into her steps. But she's not a professional, so they just maybe needed to practice that a bit more. Okay. We went in for 2 splits. She's actually quite flexible. She went all the way down into a split. The only thing that I would say is that when she came up from that split and she was, she did the split and then she came back up and she was supposed to have like a little bit of like a sexy moment and her legs were completely away from each other. It didn't look very sexy, but coming from a split and jumping back up and then trying to dance again is a bit difficult. So I don't, it doesn't particularly like, it's not a big deal. Actually not too bad. There were a lot of recognizable cha-cha figures. She didn't dance them horrendously. I think she actually danced them pretty well. Some of the things, sometimes her feet were slightly turned in, but then she started doing continuous lock steps and then she turned them back out, which, she's not a professional. So when I look at that, I kind of let it go, I close my eyes a little bit to that, but for her to be able to do, some of these steps after only the first week on the show is very good. So honestly, sometimes I feel that people get eliminated because they just don't have a big fan base. Maybe it's not necessarily about their dancing, but I think that is definitely maybe that they just don't have a big fan base backing them up on that show, calling in and voting for them. So it's not necessarily about your dancing skill. I mean, it is a little bit because, of course, if you dance really good, the fans get excited and they want to see that every week. But it also is a lot to do with fan base. Now, let's watch the next one, which is Tristan with Dorothy. They are going to be dancing a jive. Okay.
Dorothy Hammel and her partner Tristan MacManus.
Hello, you good-looking thing, you. Chantilly lace and a pretty face on its head, hanging down, a wiggle and a walk and a giggle and a talk. They're gonna make the world go round.
Again, just like the last video, not a lot of fluff, straight to the dancing, getting right into that jive. I'm noticing that he is using a lot of swing figures, not exactly very jive, just because I know as a teacher, as an instructor, that the older my students are, it is difficult to do jive. Jive is, you know, very hard on the joints sometimes, so maybe the swing steps were better for her in general, and also she's not wearing any heels. I actually really like these cute shoes that she's wearing. I don't think they particularly match so well with that dress, but I actually think they're really cute for the look. It is a fast dance, and if I'm looking at it, she is getting a bit behind just because the steps are fast, the music is fast, and he's giving her a lot of steps that have a bunch of changing of direction. So it is very difficult when the music is fast and the steps are fast. Changing that direction a bunch can be difficult, and maybe that's why she's late on her timing. But so far, I think whatever steps he's been giving her and the routine, it actually looks really cute, and I think it's really nice. Okay, they decided to do a little trick in the middle. Going in and during the trick was great, but the actual finishing and coming out of the trick, it was a little rough. Sometimes as much as you rehearse those tricks, when you are there on that day with the adrenaline, with the, you know, nerves, whatever you have, sometimes things can go wrong. So no matter how many times you practice that, and if it was perfect a million times, you never know what happens on the day of the show. So I could see why possibly this was a lower ranked dance. It was cute. I really liked the style of the dance. I really liked what they did, and then they got straight into that jive and they started dancing together. I really like that it wasn't a lot of fluff and fooling around. They were trying to really fit as many jivey and ballroom dancing figures in there as possible, than trying to just do a performance. I think it was not bad. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is Sharna dancing with Keyshawn. They have a cha-cha. There we go.
Cha-cha-cha. Keyshawn Johnson and his partner Shawna Burgess.
So, Shawna was super smart about how she put this routine together. If you noticed in the beginning, she kind of looked like she was like dancing the cha-cha. They were gonna start with steps, and then they kind of put a little fluff in there. And then she did some recognizable cha-cha figures, but instead of making him do the men steps, she kind of just made him kneel down and she did the steps. So it looked like he was kind of leading her into the steps, which, you know, maybe they, you know, he's not a dancer. So for a show, it's probably better off to make him look better than to make him try to do these figures that are very difficult to do even for people who dance. So I think it's a smart thing because Shawna is a very beautiful dancer and your eye goes to her when they're dancing the routine. So it kind of makes up for all of those little mishaps that they have. Nice. So that little trick that she did, he's a very tall, strong man. So she uses that to her advantage to do a nice trick and to make the routine look, you know, especially on that moment in the music, it was building up and then it did a big boom and she did this slide, turn, split, boom, and it made it look definitely more physically appealing to the music. So far, yeah, they've been doing, like I said, they've been doing the cha-cha, they've been doing cha-cha steps, but she's been kind of watering down his steps so that it kind of makes the effect that he's dancing those steps, but still looks good dancing those steps. So let's continue. Nice. So he was a little bit off timing there towards the end, but then they definitely made up for it with that cool trick at the end where she just drops and all of a sudden he grabs her really close to the ground. Like I said, she definitely saw his strong suits he looked very good standing there and leading her, and I think that was the best that she can do with him in that moment, in that time. And I really don't, probably there were other celebrities on there that danced and could dance better, but for somebody who has absolutely no dancing background, it's actually a pretty complicated routine. So, very good. All right, so the last and final video that we have for today is Diana and Henry, and I think they're doing a waltz, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see.
Dancing the Foxtrot.
Oh, no.
Diana
I was wrong. Not the waltz. Foxtrot.
and her partner Henry Byalikoy.
Again, I'm gonna repeat myself for the fourth time today. I really, really like that they right away got to the dancing. It's so nice. I think these are a little bit like, well, I mean, it is. These seasons are a bit older than the recent ones. And I feel like the older seasons, a lot of the pros really just wanted to do ballroom dancing and really show and really have that as a main point. But I feel like as the seasons went by, I'm sure that it probably isn't the pros, but I think that the show and the producers wanted more pizzazz, more energy, performance, this, that. So that's where they put a lot of the extra fluff stuff in. And that's why sometimes as a dancer, when I'm watching this and I see that they're mostly doing fluff, it's a bit upsetting, because if we're saying that this is a show that's, you know, surrounded around ballroom dancing, it would be nice to really see the celebrities doing authentic ballroom dancing. But I do understand that it is a show and it needs to be, you know, some energy, some performance. But I feel like we need to, I think I really like these seasons the best, because it seems like they're like not a lot of fluff, more dancing and more trying to make those celebrities learn those steps. So far, and they're doing the Foxtrot, and it's recognizable steps. We have a feather step, a three step, a throwaway, so yep. So far, it's been a lot of Foxtrot. It's been a lot of recognizable Foxtrot figures. I think I understand why people wouldn't necessarily love it so much, just because when you watch professional dancers doing that, it of course looks different. But she's doing it very well. So far, I don't think I've seen any timing issues. Especially when you're in a closed frame, it's not as hard to be off time than when you're, like, let's say in a one-hand hold. So far I haven't really seen any timing issues. I've seen lots of Foxtrot in there, which I really like to see. And I see a lot of cute, let's say, look at that camera together on this time, on this part of the music. So it seems like it works with the music. Let's continue.
If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I'd go
Not bad at all. I think it was nice. I think that for sure I can see there was, like I said, much more dancing, so maybe the performance aspect wasn't there because there wasn't much fluff, so I can see why people can judge it right away. But looking at it as a dancer, I can definitely appreciate that Henry, as a professional, tried to put more dancing and more recognizable figures in there. So I would say one thing, actually I forgot to say previously, was the frame. Sometimes I can see that she's losing the frame and he's really trying to hold on to her and bring her to places, but that's normal. She's not a professional dancer. And we, even being a professional dancer, we also tend to lose our frame sometimes when we get tired too. So that's something that is worked on for years and years and years. So yeah, I reviewed all of these. So we reviewed 4 different ones, and they were the first ones to get off in their season. Sometimes it's not even about their dancing. It's just about their fans, if they have enough fans, if they have enough people rooting for them at home. If, people don't really, maybe they were a celebrity or they were an Olympic athlete from many, 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 many years ago, and they're not really relevant, then they might not have as many fans. So I think sometimes that's the unfortunate thing about Dancing with the Stars, is that sometimes it is a little bit more just fan-based, and you can just vote and save somebody maybe who isn't the best dancer. I think it was pretty good. I think timing is key. Keep your timing, and then I'm happy. Alrighty guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below if you have any other ideas. Maybe there's a dance that specifically you love and you're like, oh, I would love to see what a dancer thinks about this dance on Dancing with the Stars. So leave that below and I will be sure to watch it and hopefully react to it. Alrighty guys, bye.